Across the vast tapestry of human belief, there are certain threads that bind us, certain ideas that echo through millennia. One such idea, a profound and challenging call to action, is this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind. It's a command that asks not for partial commitment, not for occasional thought, but for the entirety of our being. It suggests that faith is not just a Sunday morning affair, but a constant, all-encompassing orientation of one's life toward the divine, a total devotion. This simple yet powerful sentence lies at the very core of the Abrahamic faiths. For billions of people, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, it represents the ultimate expression of their relationship with God. It is the sun around which their spiritual lives orbit. It's a call to a love that is more than an emotion. It is a conscious act, a dedication of every faculty, every breath, and every ounce of strength to a higher purpose. For these traditions, to love God in this way is to find one's true self and ultimate meaning. Today, I want to take you on a journey. Together, we will travel through the sacred texts and traditions of these three great religions. We will explore how this single command manifests in the daily prayers of Judaism, how it was reaffirmed as the greatest law in Christianity, and how its spirit of total submission resonates at the heart of Islam. We will seek to understand what it truly means to love God with everything you have. Our journey begins in the ancient deserts of the Sinai with the people of Israel. It is here in the book of Deuteronomy that we first encounter this powerful directive in its written form. The verse, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5, is part of a larger passage that has become the central prayer in Judaism, a declaration of faith known as the Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. It is not merely a suggestion, it is the cornerstone upon which a covenant is built. The Shema is more than just words on a page, it is the heartbeat of Jewish spiritual life. Pious Jews recite it twice daily, in the morning and at night. It is one of the first prayers taught to a Jewish child and often the last words whispered on a person's deathbed. This daily recitation is a constant reminder, a recentering of the self. It's a conscious act of rededicating one's entire existence to the singular, indivisible God. It's a renewal of the promise made centuries ago, to love God with all your heart. For the Jewish sages, meant with both your good and your evil inclinations. It means taking every part of your human nature, the light and the shadow, and directing it towards a divine purpose. To love God with all your soul meant being willing to give up your very life rather than abandon your faith, a testament to the ultimate commitment this love demands. It is a love that transcends mere survival, reaching into the realm of martyrdom for the sake of divine truth. And what of loving God with all your might? The original Hebrew word is complex. It's often translated as strength or might, but it can also mean your very muchness or your possessions. The rabbis interpreted this to mean that one should love God with all of one's resources, all of one's material wealth. It implies that faith isn't just an internal state. It must be expressed through action in the material world, through charity, justice, and the use of one's assets for holy purposes. So for the Jewish people, this is not a passive feeling. It is an active, all-consuming, and daily practice. It is woven into the fabric of their identity, a constant call to align every thought, every feeling, and every possession with their devotion to the one God. The Shema is a pledge of allegiance, not to a flag or a country, but to the Creator of the universe, a pledge renewed with every sunrise and every sunset. Centuries later, in the rolling hills of Galilee, a Jewish teacher named Jesus would be asked a question designed to test his knowledge of the law. A religious scholar approached him and asked, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Without hesitation, Jesus reached back into the heart of his own Jewish tradition, quoting the very Shema we just explored. His answer, recorded in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, would solidify this command as the bedrock of a new emerging faith. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus replies, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." This is the first and greatest commandment. Here we see a subtle but significant addition. Jesus includes the word mind. This expansion wasn't a replacement, but an emphasis. It calls for an intellectual love, a devotion that engages our reason, our curiosity, and our understanding. Faith in this view is not blind. It is a conscious, thoughtful engagement with the divine. This emphasis on the mind suggests that our intellect is not separate from our spirit, but a crucial part of it. It's a call to study, to question, to seek understanding of God's nature and God's will. For Christians, this means that loving God involves not just fervent prayer or emotional worship, but also theological reflection, scriptural study, and the application of reason to matters of faith. It's a holistic devotion that leaves no part of the human experience untouched. Furthermore, Jesus immediately follows this by adding a second commandment, which he says is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. He then declares, all the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. In the Christian understanding, the two are inextricably linked. The vertical love for God must be expressed through horizontal love for fellow human beings. A true love for the Creator is authenticated by one's compassion, kindness, and service to creation. So, in Christianity, the command to love God is not just reaffirmed, it is expanded and anchored in the love of humanity. It becomes the ultimate moral and spiritual compass. It is the lens through which all other laws and teachings are to be interpreted. To be a follower of Christ is to strive to embody this total, all-encompassing love, a love that engages the heart's passion, the soul's devotion, the mind's intellect, and manifests in selfless action towards others. Our journey now takes us forward another 6 centuries to the Arabian Peninsula, where the Prophet Muhammad received the revelations that would become the Quran. While the exact phrasing of the command from Deuteronomy may not be repeated verbatim, its essence, the principle of total, undivided devotion to the one God, Allah, is the very definition of Islam. The word Islam itself means submission or surrender, a complete yielding of one's heart, soul, and strength to God's will. This concept of total devotion permeates the Quran. In Surah Al-An'am, we read a declaration that every Muslim is taught to make. Say, indeed, my prayer, my rites of sacrifice, my living and my dying are for Allah, Lord of the worlds. This verse is honestly a powerful echo of the Shema. It's a profound statement that every aspect of a person's existence, from the rituals of worship to the very acts of living and dying, belongs solely to God. There is no separation between the sacred and the secular. All of life is an act of worship. The love for God in Islam, or is considered the highest of all spiritual stations. It is a love that drives obedience not out of fear of punishment or desire for reward, but out of a deep, personal yearning for God Himself. The Quran speaks of those who love Him, and He loves them. This reciprocal love is the goal. It is a relationship where the believer's heart is so filled with love for Allah that there is no room for anything else to take precedence. This devotion is expressed through the 5 pillars of Islam. The declaration of faith, affirms the oneness of God. The 5 daily prayers orient the believer's entire day around remembrance of God. The fasting during Ramadan disciplines the body and soul. The obligatory charity purifies one's wealth. And the pilgrimage to Mecca, is a physical journey that symbolizes the soul's ultimate journey back to its source. Each pillar engages a different aspect of the person: their tongue, their body, their wealth, their entire being. Therefore, the Islamic path is one of loving God with all one's heart, soul, and strength through a life of submission. It is a practical, all-encompassing framework for living. It's not just a feeling in the heart, but a way of walking, talking, eating, and interacting with the world. For a Muslim, to love God with one's whole being is to live in a constant state of remembrance and gratitude, surrendering every faculty to the one who is the source of all life. We have journeyed through the sacred traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and we have seen how a single powerful command has been preserved, interpreted, and lived out for thousands of years. From the twice-daily recitation of the Shema, to its affirmation as the greatest commandment by Jesus, to its embodiment in the very meaning of Islamic submission, the call to love God with the totality of our being is a foundational pillar for a vast portion of humanity. It is a testament to a shared spiritual ancestry, a common wellspring from which these great rivers of faith flow. This longing for total devotion, for a love that consumes and defines us, is not exclusive to the Abrahamic faiths. Though the language and rituals may differ, we see echoes of this principle across the world. In the Hindu path of Bhakti Yoga, the focus is on achieving oneness with the divine through intense love and devotion. In Buddhism, the purification of the mind and the cultivation of loving kindness or represent a similar dedication of one's inner faculties toward a higher state of being. Ultimately, this ancient command speaks to a universal human yearning. It is the desire to find something greater than ourselves to which we can dedicate our lives completely. It asks us to look at our hearts, our souls, our strength and our minds, and to consider what we truly love. It challenges us to live a life of purpose, not of fragments. And in that challenge, perhaps, lies the secret to a life of profound meaning and connection, a journey we are all, in our own ways, invited to take.